Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
Steve Kerr and Draymond Green agree on the Golden State Warriors bench performance, I thought. The Golden State Warriors fell to the Houston Rockets in Game 5, losing 131-116, but the Warriors bench certainly didn't go down without a fight. At one point, the Warriors were trailing by as much as 31 points in the third quarter, prompting Steve Kerr to pull his starters and essentially throw in the towel early. However, the bench unit stepped up, cutting the Rockets' dominant lead to just 11 points, forcing Houston coach Ime Udoka to bring back his starters. The Warriors' second unit proved to be a force on both ends of the court. Despite the defeat, the mood in the Warriors' locker room was surprisingly positive, with the team confident that the bench set the tone for Game 6. Warriors' key players were quick to praise their reserves for stepping up. At halftime, Kerr had planned to give his starters 6 minutes to rest before emptying the bench. During those 6 minutes, Houston stretched their lead, but Kerr responded by giving Braxton Key, Pat Spencer, Tracy Jackson-Davis, and Kevin Knox significant playing time, and the reserves fought until the very end. "I loved our bench group," Kerr said after the game. "They came in and forced Houston to bring their starters back. They set the tone we're going to need for Game 6. Even though we lost the game, it was crucial that we fought the way we did in the fourth quarter." With 9 NBA championships under his belt, Kerr knows better than anyone how to stay competitive and continue playing at a high level even when the game seems out of reach. The Warriors kept pressing the Rockets, forcing players like Klay Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, and Dillon Brooks into tough situations. Just the fact that they came in, played the way they did, and forced their starters to return gave us a shot, Draymond Green added. "We were down by 11, had a few attempts to cut it to under 10, but it just didn't work out. But I think our bench did an incredible job, coming in, keeping the fight alive, and making an impact on this series." The Warriors still lead the series 3-2, and Game 6 will give them a chance to bounce back. With only one day of rest, Kerr made the wise choice to keep his starters out as much as possible in Game 5, understanding the risk of injury and how it could jeopardize the series if false hope set in. As the game wore on, players like Jimmie Buttler, Stephen Curry, and Brandon Podziemski, who didn't contribute much on the floor, were seen smiling and cheering on their teammates, despite the game being out of reach. For the Rockets, this could be a major setback. Udoka had no choice but to put his starters back in. Thompson took a hard fall, Sengun tangled with Spencer before fouling out, and the Warriors bench had already made a statement. With a well-rested and motivated squad, Golden State is poised to send Houston packing in front of their home crowd in the Bay Area. As Game 6 looms, the Warriors are laser-focused on securing the series and advancing to the next round. The gritty performance from their bench in Game 5 has become the rallying cry for the team, especially with so much on the line. Kerr and his players are well aware that they need a full team effort if they're to eliminate the Rockets in front of their home crowd. The Warriors' bench players, often overlooked in the spotlight, have received widespread praise for their resilience. The significance of their effort cannot be overstated. In a playoff series where every possession counts, these players showed heart and determination, sending a message that the Warriors' depth is a powerful weapon. It wasn't just about the scoreline, it was about the attitude, the refusal to quit, and the willingness to push back when the odds were stacked against them. "This game showed the heart of our team," Draymond Green said, reflecting on his teammates' resilience. "We're a family, and when one part of the team is down, the other parts pick it up. That's what we did tonight. It's about next man up, and that's exactly what our bench did. They kept us alive." As the Warriors prepare for Game 6, there is a renewed sense of belief in their locker room. Kerr's decision to rest his starters during the latter part of Game 5 was strategic, aimed at preserving their energy for the decisive Game 6, but also underscoring the importance of staying healthy in a grueling playoff series. With only one day to recover, Kerr is careful not to push his stars too hard, especially considering the physical toll of a 5-game series. The Rockets, however, are far from defeated. While their starters were forced back onto the floor to hold off the Warriors' surge, they'll need to regroup and reassess their approach for Game 6. Houston had a strong lead, but the Warriors' bench made them sweat, and that's not something they'll easily forget. The Rockets coaching staff, led by Ime Udoka, will be under pressure to find a solution for the Warriors' depth. Looking ahead, the matchup between Curry and the Rockets' defense will be pivotal. Curry has shown flashes of his MVP-caliber play throughout the series, and the Rockets know they can't afford to let him get hot. But the Warriors' depth, spurred on by their bench, could prove to be the deciding factor. The spotlight will inevitably shift back to their star players, but it's clear that the Warriors are more than just their starters. They're a team built on cohesion and collective effort. In the aftermath of Game 5, the narrative has already shifted. What could have been a demoralizing loss instead became a rallying point for the Warriors. Their bench has given them a renewed sense of purpose, and the momentum is now in their hands. If they can carry that energy into Game 6, it's not hard to imagine the Warriors closing out the series with a resounding win. Meanwhile, across the league, analysts and fans are already buzzing about the impact of the Warriors' bench performance. Many see this as a defining moment for the team. If the Warriors can overcome the Rockets and make a deep playoff run, it will likely be remembered as one of the key turning points in the postseason, one that highlighted not just their stars, but the crucial role of the reserves in securing victory. With the Warriors back in the Bay Area for Game 6, the pressure is on the Rockets to respond. Houston's hopes of extending the series hinge on their ability to contain the Warriors' star power, as well as mitigate the contributions from the second unit that proved so effective in Game 5. The Warriors, now more confident than ever, are poised to finish the job and send a message to the rest of the league. Their championship pedigree is as strong as ever, and their depth is a force to be reckoned with. Dub Hub, Jimmie Buttler remains confident in Warriors despite Game 5 blowout. Here's your Thursday, May 1st roundup of all things Warriors and NBA. Despite a tough 131-116 loss to the Houston Rockets in Game 5, Jimmie Buttler isn't hitting the panic button. The Warriors' star remains confident, assuring fans that the team will be just fine. "We're good," Buttler said, signaling that Golden State is far from finished. Wednesday night's game was a missed opportunity for the Warriors to close out their first-round series. Houston came out swinging, and Golden State starters found themselves overwhelmed early, trailing by 27 at halftime. With the game slipping away in the third quarter, head coach Steve Kerr made the strategic decision to pull his starters and rest them for a must-win Game 6 on Friday. Even after the loss, Butler's calm demeanor and belief in his squad are a reminder that this series is far from over. The Warriors still lead 3-2 and now return to the Chase Center with a chance to finish the job in front of their home crowd. But make no mistake, Houston has shown they won't go down without a fight. Golden State will need to bring a renewed sense of urgency if they want to avoid a Game 7. In other NBA news, the Timberwolves eliminated the Lakers from the playoffs with a 103-96 win in Game 5. Meanwhile, Atlanta's Dyson Daniels took home the NBA's Most Improved Player Award for the 2024-25 regular season. For more updates and headlines from around the league, check out today's full NBA News Roundup. Steph Curry and the Warriors crumble in Game 5 blowout loss to Rockets, 131-116. The Houston Rockets played like their season was on the line. The Golden State Warriors? Not so much. In what can only be described as a flat and uninspired performance, the Warriors dropped Game 5 to the Rockets in a crushing 131-116 loss on Wednesday night. While Houston came out with urgency and intensity, Golden State looked like a team already thinking ahead to Game 6. They were slow, sloppy, and outmatched from the start, and Houston took full advantage. After a brief 8-5 lead early in the first quarter, the Warriors gave up a brutal 15-0 run that put the Rockets ahead for good. From that point on, the gap only grew. By halftime, Golden State trailed by 27, and the starters had no answers. Head coach Steve Kerr pulled the plug midway through the third quarter, benching his starting five in an effort to regroup for the next game. Steph Curry was the only Warriors starter to score in double figures, finishing with just 13 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. Jimmie Buttler struggled mightily, shooting 2 for 10 from the field for only 8 points. Meanwhile, every single Rockets starter scored at least 11, with Fred VanVleet leading the way with 23 points on a red-hot 8 of 13 shooting night, including 4 of 6 from deep. But it was Klay Thompson who stole the show. The athletic young wing played suffocating defense on Curry and turned in a monster performance. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks, and 2 steals in just 28 minutes. He finished with a staggering plus 31 plus-minus, and that was through 3 quarters. With the lead ballooning past 25, Both coaches emptied their benches. Golden State's second unit, led by Moses Moody, showed some fight. Moody poured in 22 points, grabbed 9 boards, and added 2 steals in 25 minutes of scrappy play, proving to be one of the few Warriors who brought real playoff energy. A spark came early in the fourth, as the Warriors bench stormed back with a 14-2 run to cut the deficit to 15. But a missed layup by Braxton Key with just over 4 minutes remaining was a turning point. The Rockets capitalized, and tempers flared. Dillon Brooks' rebound turned into a scuffle that ended with Tracy Jackson-Davis and Alperen Sengun picking up technicals, and Pat Spencer getting ejected after a heated exchange. Ironically, Spencer had been a bright spot off the bench, tallying 11 points in 14 minutes with impressive energy. While the late push wasn't enough to save Game 5, it forced Rockets coach Ime Udoka to bring his starters back in the fourth quarter, burning valuable minutes as both teams now prepare to fly cross-country with only 1 day to recover before Friday's critical Game 6. Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green have shared the court for just 67 minutes this series, compared to 99 minutes logged by Houston's big trio of Van Vliet, Thompson, and Sengun. With fatigue setting in and momentum swinging, every bit of rest and recovery will matter heading into what could be the series decider. Whether it was overconfidence, exhaustion, or just an off night, Golden State simply didn't bring it in Game 5. But back home at Chase Center, with their season still in control, the Warriors will have the chance to close the door for good. Game 6 is set for Friday night. Tip-off time is still to be announced, but expect the Warriors to show up with urgency and something to prove. Looking ahead, pressure mounts as Game 6 looms. The aftermath of Game 5 sent shockwaves through the NBA community. Analysts were quick to point out what many fans had already sensed: the Warriors lacked their signature edge. The team that once thrived in high-pressure moments looked, for much of Wednesday night, unsure of itself. Fatigue is one thing, but the lack of urgency was harder to excuse. Veteran voices around the league weighed in. Former Warrior and NBA champion Andre Iguodala noted during a post-game, "Steve Kerr doubles down on Draymond Green, the best defender I've ever seen, even without the DPOY nod." After a gritty Game 4 win against the Houston Rockets, Steve Kerr didn't just talk about the scoreboard, he made a statement. And it was all about Draymond Green. While most of the spotlight went to Brandon Podziemski for his breakout performance, Kerr took a moment post-game to shine a light on the emotional heartbeat of the Warriors, Draymond. His message? Clear, confident, and unwavering. "He's the best defender I've ever seen in my life." That wasn't just coach speak. It felt like a pointed response to the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year results, where Draymond was once again overlooked in favor of Evan Mobley. A statement game from Draymond. The Warriors' win wasn't pretty. It was physical, intense, and packed with playoff tension. And right at the center of the chaos was Draymond Green, doing what he's done for over a decade: setting the tone, anchoring the defense, and getting under the opponent's skin. From jawing with Dillon Brooks to diving for loose balls and locking down on the final defensive possession, Draymond reminded everyone why he's still one of the most feared defenders in the league, even if the official accolades don't say so. "It's been 11 years of watching Draymond do this, game after game," Kerr said. "What Steph is to shooting, Draymond is to defense. He's that elite. No DPOY, no problem, Draymond stays locked in." Green was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award alongside Dyson Daniels and eventual winner Evan Mobley. Many fans were surprised to see Draymond lose out, especially when he instead received the NBA Hustle Award, a nod to his relentless effort and intensity. And while some might expect frustration, Draymond's response was all class. He praised Mobley for his season and didn't seem bitter about the outcome. But when Cavaliers guard Darius Garland spoke out, suggesting Mobley didn't deserve it and that Green should have won, Draymond quickly pushed back, not because he wanted more praise, but because he didn't think Mobley deserved to be disrespected on his behalf. It was a subtle but powerful reminder of who Draymond Green is: a fierce competitor, yes, but also someone who respects the game, and those who play it at a high level. The legacy continues. Green may only have one DPOY trophy on his shelf, the one he won back in 2017 during the Warriors' title run, but to Steve Kerr and the Warriors, no award can define his true value. What Draymond brings doesn't always show up in stat sheets or highlight reels. It's in the grit, the leadership, the will to win. And in these playoffs, with Golden State chasing another deep run, that kind of presence is priceless. As Kerr put it best, he doesn't just defend, he raises the bar. He competes like no one else. And whether or not the voters see it, The Warriors, and the fans who've watched him for over a decade, know exactly what they've got. A ripple through the league. Kerr's words didn't go unnoticed. Both fans and analysts took to social media to weigh in. Some praised the coach for standing by his veteran star, while others reignited the ever-present debate about the Defensive Player of the Year voting process. Several NBA insiders noted that Kerr's comment, calling Draymond the best defender he's ever seen, was more than just flattery. It was a subtle jab at the voting body, a challenge to the league's tendency to favor rising stars over proven champions when it comes to awards. For many Warriors fans, it felt like a long-overdue defense of a player who's been the backbone of their dynasty for over a decade. Even some current and former players chimed in online, with respect pouring in from around the league. "Draymond gets disrespected way too often," tweeted one veteran player. "No rings without him. That's facts. The numbers back it up." Beyond the emotion, there's data to support Kerr's stance. In Game 4 alone, Green posted a defensive rating that rivaled any of his best playoff performances. He was everywhere, switching seamlessly, helping on drives, challenging shots at the rim, and dictating the pace without scoring a ton himself. He finished with multiple steals, a block, and perhaps most importantly, the game-sealing defensive stop in the final seconds, cutting off Houston's last hope of a comeback. His presence on the court visibly disrupted the Rockets' rhythm, forcing them into rushed shots and second-guessing their options in crunch time. And while Dillon Brooks continued to play the agitator role, it was clear Draymond had the upper hand, both mentally and physically, as the game wore on. Fuel for the fire. For Green, this isn't new territory. Being doubted, disrespected, or overlooked has been part of his journey since his rookie days. But what sets him apart is how he channels that energy. "I don't need a trophy to tell me who I am," Green said after the game. "I've been doing this for a long time, and if you know basketball, you know what I bring." His words weren't bitter, just real. And for a player who's built his legacy on grit, intelligence, and competitive fire, it was exactly the kind of message fans expected from him. What it means for the Warriors moving forward. With the Warriors now up 3-1, one game away from closing out the series, the team looks as locked in as ever. Podziemski's breakout. Curry's leadership. Wiggins slowly finding rhythm. And Draymond, anchoring it all, not just with his defense, but with his voice. If Golden State wants to make a real push in the West, they'll need this version of Draymond Green, motivated, locked in, and with something to prove, even if it's only to himself. Steve Kerr's praise wasn't just about one game. It was about legacy, about identity, and about reminding the world that championships aren't won by scorers alone, they're won by defenders like Draymond Green.